Hey, what up everybody? Stevie Breach coming to you. First match of the night that we're going to talk about is the James Storm versus Magnus match. Really, TNA really hasn't had anything that has really captured my attention. Like the whole James Storm, Magnus, Mickie James triangle angle of basically James Storm trying to come in and try and swoop up Mickie James, trying to join him with the whole revolution, going and tearing him some crazy shit. Mickie James and James Storm have been friends for a long time, so basically he was trying to steal her away from Magnus. Magnus was seeing through what James Storm was doing. Every time you have sort of a hot chick, you can always see somebody trying to make a move on him. Every time you try to go to your girl, you're like, oh no, we're just friends, you're being crazy. It isn't what it was supposed to be, but for the people viewing at home, you could really see through what James Storm was doing. And basically it finally came down to James Storm making his proposal to Mickie James for Mickie to leave Magnus and join him and go around the country, tearing shit up and doing some crazy shit. Mickie James turned down James and basically said that she was with Magnus. That was her life now. She didn't really say she was flattered, and James was able to sort of just say, hey, you know what? Let's put it behind us. I just want us to stay friends. I don't want this to get weird between us. And basically took Mickie James to put her on a train, to send her out on her world tour, going around the country, singing her country music songs, be doing what she does now. And James Storm pushed her out in front of a moving train. Really, this reminds me a lot of 80s style wrestling. You don't really see a lot of angles going like this. I know people sort of tore it apart for what it was, but I still was really into this, and I think this could be a great match. They're calling this a non-sanctioned match, where basically these people are going to beat the crap out of each other on the show, and I'm really looking forward to this. Magnus is a guy that really I thought, and even TNA thought, it was going to be the future of TNA Impact Wrestling. Maybe the quotes from Dixie Carter saying that Magnus was, one of the, prettiest guys there was in wrestling, and really, betting on this guy to bring in a lot of outside people, and a lot of people really didn't know who Magnus was. He was the guy who ended up beating AJ Styles and taking the championship from him, and at that time, I think people were so negative on TNA for letting AJ Styles walk, and even at that time, not even really knowing what AJ Styles was going to become once he left and went to New Japan Wrestling and started putting on some of the best matches that he'd ever had in his career. He just got put in that sort of place. Magnus was gone from TNA for a while, and he was able to return, and now he's in this really good big spot, and here it is, a match. And today, James Storm was tweeting away on his Twitter, basically making people think that he was implying that he was leaving TNA Impact Wrestling, basically saying that he'd been in the wrestling business for 18 years, and if this really was the end of it, at least he was able to do it his way. Some people don't know if he's tweeting about maybe this non-sanctioned match could be he's going to take a beating so bad for Magnus that he's not going to be able to wrestle, and it's all in character. And there's some people thinking that it's a lot along the lines of a lot of other people in Impact Wrestling jumping ship right now, not knowing what the future holds. Lots of stories out there about TNA Impact Wrestling losing their Destination America deal due to a technicality in their contract with Destination America, that they have an escape clause that they'll use in September, and Impact will be left once again with no television deal. This was sort of one of the reasons why Bully Ray actually jumped ship, was seeing that basically there was an end coming to the Spike wrestling deal with Impact, and not knowing really what the future was going to be, and not wanting to be held to a contract with a company that didn't have TV. James Storm, I've gone on the record saying, is one of my favorite wrestlers many times. I really like his character. I really like the way he was able to spin it, because once it started to go the way of him being like the evil cult leader, even I was like, where the heck are they going? And once they got there, it was really cool. But, Cowboy! James Storm will always be one of the best things to get behind. A guy that just is all about getting in fights, drinking beers. Him and Robert Roode as Beer Money. were a great tag team, and the breakup storyline was even greater. I wish they would have been able to find a way to capture James Storm's lightning in a bottle, the way that the lockdown match ended with James Storm super kicking Rude and him falling out of the cage. They did the whole deal where Rude stole the championship from Storm, and then Rude fought for months before Storm got a rematch. And then once, Storm was cheated at the show, they did a storyline where basically it was Storm saying that he had lost the big one. He had promised his family that he was going to, win this big match. And, it was like he walked away for a long time before returning and beating Crimson and ending that win streak. But, even that was nothing to really jumpstart, what they had sort of lost with Storm. And I've always sort of been waiting for him to be able to get it back. And, as hot as he is as a big-time heel right now, it's been a fun ride. I'm hoping that James Storm isn't done with Impact, because I love watching him wrestle, and I love supporting him any way that I can. But, maybe he'll go wrestle for Global Force. Maybe he'll find a way into WWE. But a lot of these TNA guys that have been around for years and years, it's hard for them to get in. Look at it. Xavier Woods, who wrestled in TNA for a short period of Consequences Creed, he's one of the only guys to really get picked up out of TNA and brought in. And even he had to go through the Performance Center for years and years. They didn't even want AJ Styles because of his age. So we'll have to see what the future holds. This is going to be a damn good match. Honestly, there's no way to see this match. Even if the Storm rumors weren't out there, Magnus is getting the win. He needs this for his character to beat down and kill off the storyline of, killing Mickie James, who I guess is going to be making her return. And she is not dead. She just, I guess, suffered a hell of a fall at that train station that day.